Welcome back to Motive for Money, where we delve into the pressing financial issues that many Americans are facing today. In this compilation, we explore some of the most challenging aspects of the current economic landscape, focusing on the struggles and resilience of everyday people. First, we'll look at the alarming number of Americans who are unable to pay their bills, shedding light on the harsh realities of financial insecurity. Then, we'll examine the growing reliance on food banks as more and more people struggle to afford basic necessities like food. Next, we'll share powerful stories of those surviving homelessness, highlighting their perseverance and the harsh conditions they endure. Finally, we'll wrap up with a clip that offers some insightful suggestions on how we can start to fix the American economy and provide a better future for all. Stay tuned for an eye-opening journey through the challenges and potential solutions that define the financial landscape in America today. Let's dive in.
Does anyone else feel like they're absolutely fucking drowning financially?
I'm glad you asked. And it's not dark just because it's nighttime. Oh no. It's dark because I have no electricity in my crib right now. And no, I'm not joking. I am not joking at all. So, I definitely feel the struggle, you know. Not joking. See that? It's 59 degrees up in this motherfucker. Oh, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. But I've already done the crying, so I'm at a point of laughing. I make $27 an hour. I make too much to qualify for any rental assistance, electricity assistance, and I never get sick. I think I'm just getting sick because the stress is causing my immune system to deplete. But it's alright, I'm a grown-ass man. I'll get it taken care of, don't worry.
So I just found out that 30% of Americans are not paying their bills. Yeah, you heard that right. 30% of Americans are not paying their bills. Now, if we look at the entire U.S. population, we'll round it up to 350 million. Let's say 350 million. Now, anywhere between 50 and 100 million of those people are not paying bills. They're not old enough to have expenses or be responsible for those expenses. So let's just wipe out, let's say 50 million to make it easy. So 350 down to 300 million. That means if 30% of Americans are not paying their bills, that is a little under 100 million people have just said, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. Not paying my rent. Landlord, kick rocks. Fuck off. Car, nah, who cares? Let the dealer eat that one. Who gives a fuck? Nah, it's my car. You're going to have to take it out of my cold, dead hands is what they're saying. And look, first and foremost, I have to give them all the respect in the world, because if you're telling your creditor to fuck off, you're giving them the middle finger. Shit, you might be giving them two middle fingers and just saying, nah, not getting money this month. Nah, not getting money next month. Maybe 3 months. No, 3 months. That's a little bit too soon. Like, respect to you. Respect to you. That takes a set of cojones. Now, for some of these people, it might just be desperation. They don't have a choice. They don't have another option. This is option A, B, C, D, E combined. This is the only way out. So for them, not as much respect, at least in terms of the cojones part. I understand where you're coming from, though. And I hope that the financial struggles those people are going through get alleviated sooner than later, if at all. I hope they get alleviated, because I hate seeing this. And really, all jokes aside, though, it is disheartening to see that many people just giving up on paying bills. Not because it's a moral thing, like, oh, you should pay your creditors off. No, it's not about that. It's just the fact that they're in a position where they literally can't make another choice, where the only choice is to say, no, you're not getting paid. My heart goes out to people, because I see them every day. I drive them every day. I'm not in great areas when I drive around. I'm not going out to the wealthy areas to pick people up. Very rarely do.
The clips presented so far reveal the stark realities faced by many Americans struggling with financial insecurity, even those with seemingly decent incomes. In the first clip, We see a man walking through his apartment in the dark because his power was turned off. Despite earning $27 per hour, he couldn't afford to pay his electricity bill and didn't qualify for assistance due to his income level. This highlights a critical gap in support systems for individuals who fall between the cracks, earning too much to receive aid but not enough to cover their expenses comfortably. In the next clip, another man shares a sobering statistic. 30% of Americans are not paying their bills, including rent and car payments. He expresses sadness for these individuals, noting that many are kind, empathetic people who just can't keep up with their financial obligations. This sentiment underscores the widespread nature of financial distress and the emotional toll it takes on those affected. Suggestions. 1. Create a detailed budget. Start by tracking every dollar of income and expense. Use budgeting apps or spreadsheets to identify areas where you can cut back. This can help prioritize essential expenses like utilities. 2. Seek community resources. Even if government assistance is not an option, local community resources can be invaluable. Look for local charities, churches, and nonprofits that offer help with utility bills, food, and other essentials. 3. Increase financial literacy. Educate yourself on personal finance management. There are many free online resources, books, and community workshops available that can provide strategies for better financial planning and saving. 4. Explore additional income streams. Consider side jobs or gig work to supplement your primary income. Platforms like freelancing websites, rideshare driving, or part-time work can provide the extra funds needed to cover bills. 5. Negotiate with service providers. Contact your utility company to explain your situation and see if they can offer a payment plan or defer your bill. Many companies are willing to work with customers facing temporary financial hardship. 6. Build an emergency fund. Aim to set aside a small portion of your income each month into a savings account designated for emergencies. Even a modest amount can help buffer against unexpected expenses. These suggestions are not quick fixes, but steps towards building a more stable financial foundation. Remember, financial struggles are often temporary, and taking proactive steps can lead to improvement over time.
I can't be the only
Let's
one,
move
but,
on to our next clip.
My family are broke, but we're not super broke. We're broke enough to be living paycheck to paycheck and to rely heavily on our WIC card and heavily on me couponing. But we're not broke enough to be on food stamps. And that honestly kind of leaves us in an awkward place because we definitely could use food stamps and that would help us out a fuck ton, but we don't qualify for it because we make $500 too much every single year, gross pay.
These clips bring attention to food insecurity, an issue many Americans face daily. A woman shares that her family is broke, but not broke enough to receive food stamps. She explains that she uses coupons and visits food banks to get by, highlighting that 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This illustrates the challenge many people face, stuck in a financial limbo where they earn too much to qualify for assistance, but not enough to live comfortably. Following this, a single mom proudly shows the food items she received from a food pantry, including eggs, cucumbers, canned food, and peanut butter. She admits she used to feel embarrassed about going to food pantries, but now sees it as a blessing. Her story is a powerful reminder that seeking help is nothing to be ashamed of and that these resources can be a crucial lifeline. Suggestions. Utilize community resources. Don't hesitate to use food banks and pantries. They are there to help, and as seen in the clips, they can provide substantial support. Couponing and discount shopping. Take advantage of coupons, discount stores, and sales. Every bit of savings helps, especially when living paycheck to paycheck. Meal planning and bulk buying. Plan meals ahead of time and buy in bulk when possible. This can help stretch your food budget further and reduce waste. Community support. Engage with local support groups or online communities. Sharing tips and resources with others in similar situations can provide both practical help and emotional support. Advocate for policy changes. Participate in local and national discussions about improving support systems for those who fall into the gap between needing assistance and earning too much to qualify. Your voice can help drive change. These steps can make a difference in managing food insecurity and overall financial health. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Let's move on to our next clip.
If I had to do this all over again, I was still going to choose to be homeless. I got the freedom to be anywhere I want, when I want. I live for free. I still got all the necessities of life. A shower, a toilet, food, a stove, fridge. I can spend my money on whatever I want. Wake up with the freedom of knowing that my money is going to what I want it to, not what it has to be going to. A lot of people don't realize that they stress in life because they make things more complicated than they are. When you learn to look at things for what they are instead of what you want them to be, you learn how to navigate. I picked my main things that made me happy and what I needed, and that's where I'm.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to be homeless. Very interesting thing. A lot of people don't know how to suffer or struggle. I'm going to teach you guys that it's actually not as difficult as you think. So step one, you're going to have to get used to carrying aluminum foil. Aluminum foil is going to be your best friend. Aluminum foil, if you keep it, it doesn't trigger sensors and things of that variety. So just want to let you know that aluminum foil eliminates sensor triggers. Just want to let you know that. I'm not going to say what to use that for, but just want to let you know aluminum foil is your best friend. So bigger stores are your best friend too. Walmart, Myers, bigger stores, especially around closer to when it's closing and right when it opens. Good times to go in. But if you look dirty, they're going to look at you. So here's what you want to do. Laundromats. Right now, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm at a laundromat. Laundromats are 24/7. Nobody usually is in laundromats. That's probably the best thing about them. So I would say chill at laundromats, especially in the colder months, and gather money outside. You're going to want to be next to intersections. You're going to want to be outside, things of that variety. You're going to want to be getting used to just being out there and begging for money. Begging is going to be your best friend. You're going to have your arms out extended and beg in church. Churches are really great for you. Why are churches great? You're going to have to put back your religious hate for about 3 seconds and hear me out. Churches like to give away free food. Wednesdays around here in Michigan, they like to give around free food. And sometimes on Sunday mornings, they just like to give around free food to the homeless people. I don't know why. Pretty nice. It's good to just get the free food. Now, a lot of places, especially missions, like there's Cherry Street Mission, there's LaGrange Street Mission, things of that nature. Those places end up having you have an ID. So a lot of people are homeless because all their documentation gets ruined and in the wash, or they get kicked out and they can't grab their documentation. Well, this is actually good. Hear me out. This is what you want to do. You want to, for the sake of brevity, go down to your courthouse and get a birth certificate. Birth certificates should cost around $35 to $50. Buy a birth certificate, then get an ID. That should be about $27. You're gonna need about gather $100 begging. Spend a whole day begging outside on maybe the side of the sidewalk or places where a lot of cars pass. Maybe like in a little, not like the mall, but like a mini mall. And right where the cars are coming out, hold up a sign. You're probably thinking, so we're gonna get cardboard. Behind Walmart's, lots of cardboard there, just free. You're probably thinking, so well, how do I eat? You need to stock up on bread. Bakeries, most days, will toss out their day-olds. You can pick off the mold, or sometimes the day-olds aren't even molding yet. They just toss out the day-olds, and you can get rid of those. Boom. Free bread, free food. You need to focus on efficiency. And if you're focusing on staying clean, you can use the money you get from begging to wash your clothes at the laundromat, which you can stay at so you don't get kicked out. You can do that from about 12 to about 5 in the morning, washing clothes, just staying away from the snow and fog. That's actually pretty good. You're going to need a shopping cart. That's just important. You're going to need a shopping cart. If you don't have a car, you're going to need a shopping cart. If you do have a car, which would be really efficient just to get a car, what you want to do is you want to fill it up with gas and keep it in a place that's abandoned. Especially if you don't have tags for the car or a license plate, keep it in a place that's abandoned. Probably some like abandoned bowling alley, something of that variety. That will help you out just staying warm if you can stay in that car. Don't run the car all day. You'll run out the battery, then you'll be SOL, and that's not good. So you can just get a junk car, and a junk car will actually help out in leaps and bounds, and that would actually be great for you. Just to get a junk car wouldn't be that bad. So after you've done all this, you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I shower? Gym membership, Planet Fitness, $10. Once you get the ID from the initial point thing through, you can take a bath at the gym. Taking a bath at the gym is actually really fun. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, the goal is to not be homeless. How do I not be homeless? I'm trying to get out of this. After showering at the gym, chilling out laundry mats because you don't have a stable place, things of that nature, what you want to do is you want to find an abandoned house, just an abandoned house. And you don't want to live there. Don't live in the abandoned house. But you want to set that as your mailing address for the abandoned house. So you can get mail sent there so you can get stuff from your job. Maybe a job card, things of that nature. You might have to donate blood, but you will need an ID. ID is really important. Basically, everything in America relies primarily on an ID. So that's really, really, really big and important. So you want to get a phone. There's Text Now. Text Now, you can get a plan for $20. I believe it's Wi-Fi only plans. I'm not quite sure. But you can get a Text Now phone. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I won't always have Wi-Fi. Libraries. Libraries, you can charge your phone, chill there, basically spend all day there. You get 3-hour sessions. You can chill there so you stay away from the elements. You're not roaming around all day. So you can chill out. That's like a little vacation for you. You'll begin to be able to fill up with water. Water is going to be your best friend. Water is better to stay hydrated than to be actively starving. So that's the best thing you want to do. Those are the few tips that I've gathered on the confines of being homeless. So let's summarize everything together. You guys ready to summarize it? So, Planet Fitness for showers. Laundromat for sleeping and staying overnight and away from the cold. Libraries for Wi-Fi, entertainment. Obviously, you're human. You still want to be entertained. That's very important. You just want to stay entertained in that aspect. So, outside of that, getting a job. You want to buy a birth certificate. Going down to the courthouses, you can just buy a birth certificate, especially if it's the state you were born in. Not too difficult, not too hard. After that, get an ID. Get a social security card. Turn your social security card administrative office. Find a job that's low maintenance. Or if a job like Amazon will hire you, I know people don't want to work for Jeff Bezos, but Amazon will hire you, or like a Dollar Tree, you just work there part-time. The reason I say part-time is because, you want to make sure you're still figuring out things in your life, and you want to make sure your things fine and efficient. And you're probably thinking to yourself, where do I hide my stuff? I don't want it to get ruined. You want to put it in abandoned places that are abandoned. You're gonna have to do a lot of walking. Learn your bus routes. Very important to learn your bus routes. You're gonna be taking the buses a lot, especially if you don't have a car. Go to junkyards. See if they have any cars that are just given to them that still run. You can just have a car that just sits in one spot but still runs. Very important to do that. So that's the tips that I've discovered from being homeless.
These clips focused on surviving homelessness. In one clip, a man shares his story of living in his vehicle by choice. He decided to become homeless so that his money could be spent on things that mattered more to him. His decision has led to increased happiness, showing that unconventional living arrangements can sometimes lead to greater contentment. In the next clip, another man provides practical advice on surviving homelessness. He points out that churches often provide free food and emphasizes the importance of having identification documents like a birth certificate and driver's license. He highlights various strategies such as seeking out bakeries that discard day-old products, using laundromats for cleanliness, showering at gyms, and utilizing library resources. He also suggests using an abandoned house's address for receiving mail and points out the benefits of having a car, including parking in abandoned business lots. Suggestions: stay informed about community resources. Many churches, nonprofits, and community centers offer food, clothing, and other essentials for those in need. Regularly check for local resources. Maintain personal hygiene. Staying clean is crucial for health and social acceptance. Gyms, public restrooms, and community centers can offer shower facilities. Secure important documents. Ensure you have necessary identification documents, as they are crucial for accessing services and employment. Utilize libraries and public spaces. Libraries offer a safe space with internet access, which can be essential for job searching and staying connected. Smart use of vehicles. If you have a car, it can provide shelter and mobility. Be mindful of safe parking spots, like abandoned business lots or areas with less traffic. Food security. Utilize food banks, pantries, and bakeries that offer day-old products. Coupons and discount shopping can also help stretch limited funds. Mental health and support. Homelessness can be isolating. Seek out support groups, counseling services, and community networks to maintain mental well-being. These reflections and suggestions highlight the resilience and resourcefulness required to navigate financial hardship and homelessness. They also emphasize the importance of community support and strategic planning in overcoming these challenges. Let's move on to our next clip.
Who else is sick to death of hearing CEOs boast and brag about record-breaking profits when their lowest paid employee doesn't have health care and can't afford to pay rent? Congress needs to immediately draft and pass legislation that covers three things. Number one, you as a CEO cannot make more than 200% of what your lowest paid employee makes. That's 2 times whatever you pay your lowest paid employee. So if you're paying your lowest paid employee the federal minimum wage at $7.25 an hour, you cannot make more than $14.50 an hour. And if that's not enough for you and you need to raise your wages so that you can have the lifestyle that you want, then you have to raise the wages of your lowest paid employee and every employee in between. And if CEOs find this unfair and think they won't be able to afford to live on these wages, well, might I suggest you stop buying avocado toast in Starbucks. Number 2, federal minimum wage should not be one set dollar amount that is used across the board. It should be based on the minimum cost of living for the city that the person who is employed lives in. So minimum wage is going to look different in a city like New York or LA than it does in a small town in Nebraska. And employers should not be allowed to pay their employees less than the minimum cost of living for the city that their employee lives in. The local governments will be responsible for calculating the minimum cost of living for their city, and then there will be language written into the federal legislation that accounts for that. Number 3, universal health care across the board. It does not matter if you are employed or not. If you live in this country, you get access to the health care that you need. We are the only industrialized nation that does not guarantee health care to its citizens. There are 30 plus other industrialized nations on this planet that provide their citizens with universal health care, and their economies are thriving. Their economies have not crumbled. In conjunction with this legislation, Citizens United needs to be overturned. Corporations are not people. This country is for the people, by the people, not for corporations. Corporations should not be allowed to spend unlimited money buying politicians in elections so that they can get their legislation passed while we all get fucked. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, whatever the fuck. I want you just for 1 second, hear me out. Just set aside whatever you feel about socialism or communism or capitalism or whatever the fuck, and just ask yourself, how much better would my life be if I was making the minimum cost of living in my city? If I had access to all the healthcare that I needed, how much better would my quality of life be? Would your life improve drastically if these 3 things were law? If you answered yes, then you need to vote for politicians who would pass these laws.
The final clip presents a thought-provoking argument on income inequality and the need for systemic change. The woman suggests that CEOs should not earn more than 200% of their lowest paid employee's salary, using the example of a CEO making $14.50 per hour if the lowest paid worker earns $7.25 per hour. She also highlights that America is the only developed country without universal health care and stresses the importance of voting for politicians who genuinely support workers' rights rather than strictly adhering to party lines. This clip underscores the significant disparities in income and benefits that exist within many corporations and points to broader issues within the American economic and healthcare systems. Suggestions: advocate for fair pay. Support policies and movements that advocate for fair wages and income equality. Encourage discussions about salary transparency and fair compensation practices in the workplace. Educate yourself on healthcare policies. Understand the healthcare policies and proposals put forth by different politicians and parties. Support initiatives that aim to provide more comprehensive and affordable healthcare coverage for all citizens. Vote with purpose. Research candidates and their platforms thoroughly before voting. Focus on their stance on worker rights, healthcare, and income equality rather than voting solely based on party affiliation. Support worker rights. Join or support labor unions and advocacy groups that work towards better wages, working conditions, and benefits for employees across various industries. Raise awareness. Use social media and other platforms to share information and raise awareness about income inequality, healthcare disparities, and the importance of voting for supportive policies. As we conclude this compilation, it's clear that many Americans are grappling with significant financial challenges, from the high cost of living to income inequality and the lack of universal health care. Reflecting on these clips, it's evident that systemic changes are needed to create a more equitable and supportive society. We want to hear from you. What steps do you think can be taken to address these issues? How are you coping with the high cost of living or other financial challenges? Share your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. Remember, your comments might be featured in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. And for more insights and resources, visit motiveformoney.com. Together, we can navigate these challenges and work towards a better future. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.